I won't lie to you, when I took the keys to this Vauxhall Grandland, I was already giving it the nickname of the Vauxhall Grandad or the Vauxhall Blandland. I was really ready to find this car extremely boring. And yet, in the few days I've been driving it, I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised, and not for the reasons I expected. So in this video, I'm going to show you all of the things I think are really very impressive about this car.
And I'll also reveal one thing I'm not so keen on.
Now I want to kick off with design because I think Vauxhall, while they've gone very sensible with the general vibe of this car, it couldn't be much more boxy and plain. The details are really cool. I like the illuminated front badge. Initially I wasn't so sure, but actually it's been done nicely. I think the headlight design is sensible but nice, and also I think this clean front bumper is just completely inoffensive. I also like to see that we have chunky eco tyres here, which bodes well for this electric car's range, but also for its ride, and I'll mention whether that's good or bad in a little bit. And at the rear of the car, it's kind of the same affair again, because as you will see, it's pretty sensible, but the detail in the lighting is nice. Nothing particularly bold here, but I think it's a clean design. And you know what? Generally, the interior, I think, is a nice place. Let me put it back to the general home screen. Look, there's a home button there, which is always good. Generally, the interior, when I first got in it, I have to admit, I thought, steering wheel looks a bit bland, and I'm not so sure. Everything just feels a bit meh. But the functionality is very, very good. Firstly, I like that you've got proper vents here, look, actual old school style things. You don't have to dive into the menus to sort it. Your climate control, the main buttons are all actual switches. And look, you've got your quick action for your clearing of windscreen and rear window. And of course, there is a climate control menu to dive in even more detail, but generally on the move, you can just get by with what's physical. And the same is true for your buttons here, driver assistance, and also for your media as well. Now, this little screen down here, it's pretty high definition. Let me zoom in there for you. As you can see, it's quite high definition and it shows you a lot of info. It's also relatively customizable. There's tons of storage space in here. I mean, we've got space in there, a couple of USB-Cs, as you see, wireless charging mat, removable cup holder. If I press that correctly, it slides around actually, maybe not fully removable. Lots of space in there. Look, my arm can go right back to there. And you even get a bit of under storage here. I also like that there's a vent over here. It's interestingly placed. It looks quite cool. Proper switches. Just generally, this is just such an easy car to get to grips with, whether you're on the move or whether you're sitting around. And the infotainment system, well, look, I'm not going to pretend it's the quickest one out there. It is pretty quick. And I mean, you know, look, the responses to that are pretty good, aren't they? Check that out. I mean, that's almost smartphone-like in its responses, big widgets and buttons. So while it's not the tallest, it is one of the widest. And of course, if it was tall, it would be distracting. It's good interior, this, if not the most exciting. And it's very much the same vibe with the seats. Look, they're just quite plain, not particularly exciting, but they are comfortable and they're very adjustable. You can sit nice and high or you can get a little bit lower too.
Before we hop in the back, don't forget, when searching for your next car, get downloading the Cinch app, where you won't just find a fantastic selection of cars to choose from, but also some very useful tools to help you decide.
Now, there are actually two more impressive things about the interior, and the first is the rear space. Now, this rear door opens at a kind of normal angle, and there's a bit of an angle here, so it's not the easiest for access, but it's also not too bad. But what's impressive is how much legroom I have down here. Now, there is a battery in the floor, so my feet aren't quite as low as I'd like. So if you can see, I've got a bit of a gap here with my knee, but there is a good amount of legroom. My legs can have quite an easy angle. I'm just under 6 foot, and that's pretty comfortable for me. And the seat ahead, by the way, is how I like it, which means that it is actually quite low. Most people would probably have it higher. And you don't have much in the way of a foot tunnel. In fact, it's barely a centimetre, I'd say, of lifted floor, so it's basically flat. And as you can see, you don't get tons of creature comforts, but you do get a 12 volt down there and a couple of USB-Cs, which is handy as well. And generally, the middle seat is quite wide as well. It's going to be comfortable for an adult on a shorter journey or a kid on a slightly longer journey. And you've got an armrest with some cup holders in here as well. Oh, and by the way, you do actually have a ski hatch because you can lower the seat down there. So I don't know if that's worked there, but there you go. You can see it's gone down, providing you access to the boot. Storage also is good in the back, fabric storage in the seats here, and the door pockets are okay, definitely big enough for a conventional water bottle. But where I'm really impressed is in headroom, because look, as I said, I'm just under 6 foot, and I mean, that is a solid amount of space above my head here. So taller passengers are going to have no problems whatsoever sitting in the back of this car.
Now, as far as pricing is concerned, at first, it's all a bit confusing. The Grandland we have here is a mid-level GS trim car, which costs from £37,605 new, but strangely is more powerful, and all-wheel drive Grandland Electric GS sibling is cheaper at £36,995. How strange. Turns out it's because that model qualifies for the UK government's EV grant, meaning if you want all-wheel drive or 325 horsepower, or both, it's a no-brainer to go for that cheaper car. Although, there is still a key reason you might want to stick with this 218 horsepower version of Vauxhall's electric Grandland, and I'll reveal exactly what that is in a little bit. But first,
the final thing that I think is very impressive about the interior is in the boot, because if I lift this manual tailgate, slight markdown for the manual tailgate on a car of this cost, but opening the boot reveals that there's a lot of space, but that's not the thing that I'm most impressed about. The thing I'm most impressed about is, and this is very important for an EV, is these charge cables, of course, are going to be very annoying to hide away, and you're thinking, oh, there's probably a little box down here. It's going to be so frustrating because there's all batteries in the floor. These aren't going to fit very well. But no, I was very surprised to see, look how much space there is underneath there. That is like a proper petrol car boot. Loads and loads of space for your suitcases and also your charge cables. Now, the other thing that's really impressed me in this car is the way it drives, because not only is it easy to see around the car, big chunky door mirrors, I mean, they're actually not as big as you might think, and yet the visibility is good because it's both tall and wide enough. Visibility over the nose is good because it's a very square car, it's easy to position. But also, if I show you here, look, I'm just going to reverse into a space. So if I click down into reverse here, you'll spot that the camera is nice and high resolution. You can see that it actually builds an image around the car. So you have got good visibility, the camera rotates as well. It's just nice and easy, and because this is so high resolution, it is a very useful camera to use. But as you'll spot as well, because I'm quite high on the road, it's a proper SUV experience, this, not surprisingly, of course. So it's just easy to drive in town, and I can confirm on the motorway as well, it feels pretty refined. You know, there's not much in the way of road noise, there's a little bit, but nothing crazy. And wind noise as well, despite this car being so butch, is actually okay. It's quite a well insulated car, so it feels more premium than many people would probably think, given that it's a Vauxhall. And I must say, I've been surprised by how nippy this thing is. It's not quick, and it never really shoves you in the backside with acceleration like you might expect from other EVs, but it's quick enough. Now, I will also show you that the adjustable regen on this car is very good because we have these shift paddles here. So right now it's on minimum, so if I just come off the accelerator, we're basically just rolling on a very steady, very light downhill. But then if I ramp up the regen by clicking basically negative, you'll see the car, I'm not braking, the car is just slowing itself down. Does it bring it to a stop? Not quite, but close enough. So this is excellent for traffic. And of course, the other advantage of this being on the steering wheel rather than being in the menus like it is in so many other cars is I can use it on the fly. So for example, now I want less regen, so I can, I'm just coasting, but then suddenly I think, oh, actually, I want to turn down this side road, so I'll press negative, like downshifting, and then the car slows down for me. I don't have to touch the brakes.
and if I'm honest, that's a good thing, because it means you don't have to interact so much with the Grandland Electric's slightly spongy brake pedal. The brakes are definitely strong enough themselves, but the pedal isn't the firmest, so it takes a bit of getting used to. It means for maximum comfort, the Grandland's brilliant adjustable regen is actually very useful, while also boosting efficiency. Which reminds me, the key reason you might choose this lower spec Grandland Electric over its cheaper all-wheel drive sibling is because of range, as here you get a claimed 323 miles with a full battery to the all-wheel drive car's 307. And if you're wondering when you need a top-up, a 160 kilowatt capable charger will take the battery from 20 to 80% in 30 minutes.
And as I'm demonstrating on this terrible diabolic, look at the potholes and look at the cracks and the gaps in the road infrastructure here. This is a really horrible road, but the car rides okay. Now, I'm not going to pretend it rides like a Rolls Royce. It definitely is a bit firmer. It's got that heavier SUV electric car feel, but into these sort of bumpy, horrible sections of roads here, it's doing a good job. It feels solid, sure-footed, and at no points does it ever feel uncomfortable. So, spongy brakes aside, this car has impressed me. I mean, it's nice to drive, the tech is rapid, I think it actually looks all right, and the interior is very functional. Plus, there's loads of room as well. So overall, this is a really good family SUV. But if you're not ready to make the switch to electric just yet, rest assured there are plenty of fantastic hybrid SUVs out there. And in fact, we've collated some of our favorites into this video here.